Hello and welcome back to my channel. Well, I'm assuming you've been here before. If you've not been here, I'm Camellia and I'm just going to be sharing. I started off just deciding to record a recap for a devotion I did for Instagram and then figured I just record a full video. I don't have any headroom or anything. I don't have my tripod or anything. My phone is just leaned. It's just up against a thing. So but the devotion that I did that I want to reflect on for a second is in John 4, the whole story really. But I want to focus on verse 12, 13, 14, I believe. But the reason I am focusing on these particular verses is because, so I grew up Christian. I grew up Adventist. And I've always had a relationship with God. Sometimes it was better than others. Sometimes it was strained. And it's usually because of me, right? Sometimes it was strained. And sometimes I treated God like a genie or, where you go and rub him when you need him and stuff. But the last few months have been really challenging. And this experience has caused me to lean into God in a way that I probably have never done before. Because I recognized that I'm a broken human being. I am flawed. I am sinful. I give into impulses at times. And so I've done therapy for a long time, usually on and off. I'll go for it, like something will happen and I'll go. And once I feel better, I stop going. But now I've been doing therapy consistently. I've started doing therapy consistently now. And it's helpful. But I also recognize that my level of brokenness requires more than just therapy. It requires God. Like only God can actually come in and restore and mend and bind up and heal my brokenness. And so I've been spending a lot of time with God. I was telling my best friend yesterday that my basement is my cry zone. But this experience has caused me to lean into God more than ever before. And my brokenness, my flaws are part of my experience. Would I have rather not to have them? Absolutely. But it's part of my experience. And as tough as the experience I'm now going through is, one of the things that I am acutely aware of is that nothing happens by chance. Nothing is wasted. And so even when I'm crying, even when I am faced with just darkness on every side, one of the questions I keep asking is, God, what is the lesson? What is it that I'm supposed to get out of this? Because I do not want to retake this test. I do not want to retake this test. And so I want to get the lesson so I can move on. But also I recognized that oftentimes, when we do things and we say things, we are trying to fill a void. We're trying to fill a gap. We're trying to quench a thirst. We're trying to satisfy a hunger. And so the story of the woman at the well, on Sunday, but I don't know when you're going to watch this, but I was in worship just most of the day. And a lot of it wasn't even reading the Bible. It was just talking to God, like listening to music, listening to hymns. And one of the songs I was listening to is Like a Woman at the Well. I was seeking. And I remember reading a book, I think it's called Come Thirsty or something. It's an Adventist pastor who wrote it. And I read that book and I was like, wow. Just started resonating in a different way. And I started questioning myself. I'm like, Camellia, what are you thirsty for? What is it that you are trying to satisfy? What is it you're trying to quench? Because sometimes I will say some things to people, or I will do some things, and then like in the heat of a moment when I'm having like these thoughts or I'm feeling certain emotions, and then afterwards I'll step back and I'm like, why do you do that? What was that about? I think it's because I'm trying to satisfy a thirst. I'm trying to quench a thirst, but I'm going about it the wrong way, which is why the story of the Samaritan woman resonates so much, because she had these different things that she needed. She had what, 5 husbands? She was clearly searching for love. She was clearly searching for some kind of companionship. She was searching for safety. She was searching for something in those relationships. And she kept going to the wrong place to fill those needs. She probably had other needs. I don't know her backstory. I don't know what her experiences were. I don't know what her childhood was like. I don't know what baggage she carries, but she was carrying some baggage. She had some things that she needed. She yearned for. She was thirsty for something. She was hungry for something, but she kept going about it the wrong way to satisfy those things. So when she was at the well and Jesus said to her, the water that you're drawing, you're going to have to come again because it will not fill you up. But I have living water that I can give you to fill you. And I resonate with this woman because all of us have things that we thirst for. And because the thirst is uncomfortable, we want to fill that void. We want to fill that gap. And sometimes we don't sit in the presence of God and we don't talk to God about it or about these different things. So we try to use our own methods to fill the gap, to quench the thirst. And I mentioned in the devotion that I did that for me, one of the things that I have to deal with now is aloneness or loneliness. My family is in Toronto. Most of my friends are in Toronto. I moved here and I was fine. But then life happened and I realized that I'm alone here. On my good days, I'm alone. On my bad days, I'm alone. And that gets to me after a while. It would get to anybody because we are communal beings. We are created for community. And so on those days, I will make a random purchase. And sometimes this is thousands of dollars. And in my head, this purchase is supposed to do something. It is supposed to, bring me some kind of fulfillment, some kind of contentment. And that thing, I would love the purchase in the moment, but after a few uses, then what am I going to do? Like, I'm still at square one. I'm still by myself. I'm still alone. I'm still experiencing those feelings. And so Jesus, in telling this woman, or in saying to her, let me give you water. He's basically saying, let me fill that thing that you really need. Let me do that thing for you. Let me fill that void. Let me quench that thirst. Let me go to the heart of the matter. Because we mask a lot. Sometimes we really do not know what exactly it is that is missing. We just know that something is missing. And so if you don't know what it is, what the issue is, it is going to be very difficult for you to treat that issue. But Jesus is saying to her, come, I know what your real need is. I know what that thing that you're thirsting for or hungering for, I know what it is. So come to me, let me take care of it. Because what you're going to do is create a cycle that is going to contribute to your further brokenness. It's going to contribute to your further hurt, your further pain, your further grief, your further aloneness, your further sadness, your further need for validation and need for acceptance. but I know what it is, so let me deal with it. And so I've been sitting in that. And then my encouragement to you is, if you are but we are all thirsting for something. Whatever it is that you're thirsting for today, God has it. He has the answer. And so one of the things we have to do is be honest with ourselves about the thing that we actually need. Like, what is the core issue? We have to be honest with ourselves about those things. And we also have to be honest with God. God already knows that there's no point. I mentioned that in the devotion. There's no point in going to Him and, with all platitudes and performance and facade. No, God knows you. He knows exactly what you're feeling. He knows exactly what you're missing. He knows everything. He just wants us to acknowledge that and to come to Him and talk to Him about it. I noticed I mentioned the verse, but I never read it. Verse 12 says, verse 13, Jesus replied, anyone who drinks this water will soon become thirsty again. But those who drink the water I will give will never be thirsty again. It becomes a fresh bubbling spring within them, giving them eternal life. And in verse 15, the woman said, please, sir, give me this water. Then I'll never be thirsty again, and I won't have to come here and get water. Jesus said to her, go get your husband. Go get that thing that you are trying to fill your need with or in. Go get it, bring it to me. Let me take that thing and give you water. And the fact, one of the things as I read the text where the woman says, give me this water, then I'll never thirst again. When you've been thirsty for a long time, when you've been broken for a long time, when you've been desperate, when you've been in grief, when you've been in pain for a long time, and a solution is presented to you, you get to a point where you're tired of being in that state and you're willing to take the solution. It's just that oftentimes the solutions that we turn to are temporary. They're man-made and we create them, and Jesus is saying, let me exchange it today. Let me take that thing from you and exchange it and fill you up so that you can be whole and you can operate from a place of wholeness. You can operate from a place of peace, a place of fullness where you're not empty, a place of joy. Take a chance on God today. Bring Him your brokenness, bring Him your thirst, bring Him your hunger, bring Him your void, and allow Him to do what only He can do, and is to give us that living water that will cause us to never thirst again. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a good day.